All right, joining us to talk more about India's successful launch of its first space docking mission is Group Captain Dr. Ajay Lele, retired. Group Captain Dr. Lele is the Deputy Director General of the Manohar Parrikar Institute for Defence Studies and Analyses. It's a state-funded think tank headquartered in New Delhi. Dr. Lele, welcome to DD India News Hour. To begin with, I have a couple of questions, basic, fundamental questions to ask for the benefit of viewers joining us from India and around the world. First, how would you explain docking to a viewer who doesn't understand what it means?
You see, many of the viewers must have seen the International Space Station. Presently we have Sunita Williams staying over there for quite some time. So when Sunita Williams traveled towards the International Space Station, she traveled in a rocket. From that rocket, she had to enter the International Space Station. So there is a path which is created from which she can enter. So that means her rocket had docked with the International Space Station and then she entered the International Space Station. In a similar fashion, the astronauts who were getting back from the International Space Station, the surface of the Earth, the reverse process happened. They left the International Space Station and entered the rocket. So during this entire phase, the rocket and the International Space Station were docked together. So this is what is going to happen when India will establish its own space station.
Okay.
But we have to take some baby steps to understand the technologies related with docking. Because these are the technologies, as it was already said, that only 3 countries have mastered that art. And nobody shares these technologies. So what India yesterday has done is that India has launched 2 small satellites. Each satellite is weighing around 220 kilograms. And those satellites are now positioned into a low Earth orbit. Over a period of time, they will be at a distance of around 20 kilometers from each other. And by 7th of January, the docking is expected to happen. That means the distance from 20 kilometers will slowly start getting reduced to say 15 kilometers, 10 kilometers, 5 kilometers. And finally, when there will be hardly any distance left, both the satellites will dock with each other. So as far as this docking technology is concerned, it's a new technology which ISRO scientists have worked over a period of time. In fact, more than 10 years they have worked on this technology. Because to undertake a very precision docking, you require a lot of technologies, right from sensors to radars to telescopes to various types of technologies. So they have mastered these technologies and now they expect the docking to happen on 7th of January.
Right. Also, if you could, Dr. Lele, explain to our viewers why is docking an important milestone in India's space journey?
You see, as far as India's space journey is concerned, we have come a long way over a period of time. But as far as all our missions were concerned, they were essentially for a socio-economic benefit of the country.
Right.
That means we have launched satellites for the purposes of weather. We have launched satellites for the purposes of remote sensing. That means you are undertaking Earth observations, basically to manage your resources on the surface of the Earth. Then we have invested into communication technologies. You all understand that today you and me are able to talk basically because of satellite communication technologies. Audio, video signals are being transmitted from one place to other place in real time. Then we have mastered the art of navigational technologies also. So all these technologies have got tremendous amount of benefits for socio-economic development. So now subsequently we have decided to take further steps into the domain of space. As of September this year, Government of India has approved 4 major projects as far as ISRO is concerned for coming 2 decades or so, one can say. So these projects involve, one is a mission to Venus. We have already undertaken a successful mission to Mars in 2013-14. So now we want to have our eyes towards the Venus. The other project is the Gaganyaan mission, which is going to happen either by end of this year or early next year. We want to slightly upscale that mission. So that project also has been approved. Then we want to undertake a mission to Chandrayaan again by using a Chandrayaan 4 rocket. This time it is going to be a mission where we are going to get the samples back from the moon surface. So basically the soil from the moon surface we will be getting back through mission. And the last mission which has been approved is a space station. So as far as these 4 missions are concerned, other than the Venus mission, for rest 3 missions, you require the docking technology.
I see.
So today when we are investing into these technologies, we have got a future in our mind. Because when we want to develop our own space station, definitely when our astronauts are going to go over there, like I already explained about the International Space Station, in similar fashion, you will also require to develop a docking technology. So we are making an initial start by doing these activities as of yesterday, and we expect the docking to become successful by 7th of Jan, and subsequently we are going to expand on this technology. So this is, I can say, a first step, which is extremely important as far as India's future missions for the space are concerned.
Right. So as you say, Dr. Lele, this technology will help India in at least 3 of the 4 future missions. One, to put an Indian, get samples from the moon, to put an Indian in space for the human space flight program, and last but not the least, for an Indian space station. Now, could you also talk a bit more at some length of putting an Indian in space again, the human space flight called Gaganyaan?
As far as Gaganyaan is concerned, the program has got slightly delayed, essentially because of there were COVID crisis in between.
Right.
But now the program is on track. It is expected that by this year, at least in the beginning of this year, we will be launching first uncrewed mission. We are going to undertake a crewed missions. Our astronauts have already got trained in Russia. So those part of the job is over. They are continuously training themselves, keeping themselves updated with the technologies. But now what is remaining is to undertake uncrewed missions just to check the validity of various systems.
Okay.
And when we get a success with these 2 uncrewed missions, we will be launching a human mission. It is expected that we will launch, say, 3 astronauts. They will stay in a space for a period of around 7 days. These are the initial indications which I have received. But otherwise, we will have to undertake the mission, first the uncrewed mission. So we have already established a robot called Vyomitra. So the next mission, the first uncrewed mission, will be not carrying any human, but a robot will do the same activities which human is going to do. So we will be able to test our various technologies. Then there is one system called crew escape module. Suppose a launch takes place and immediately after launch something goes wrong. Then we want to ensure that the crews remain safe. So there is a concept of a crew escape module. So we are going to test that technology also in coming 2 to 3 months. So it appears that either by end of this year or in the beginning of next year, either by end of 2025 or by beginning of 2026, we should have a Indian astronaut in an Indian spacecraft visiting the space and coming back safely.
Wonderful. You also spoke about India's moon mission, the Chandrayaan mission. You spoke about how India wants to harness or master this docking technology in order to bring samples from the surface of the moon back to Earth. But does India also propose to send an Indian to the moon?
Yes, that is a plan which we have got. We are expecting that to happen by 2040. So it's a long-term plan.
Okay.
Right now, as far as Chandrayaan 4 mission is concerned, why we require a docking technology is because the Chandrayaan 4 rocket and the satellite, they are very big. So India is not in a position to launch a very big satellite in one go. So what we are planning to do is that we will launch parts of satellites out into the space, and after we master this technology, we will use the similar type of a technology for joining those satellites out into the space. So some parts of the satellites will be sent into the space, say maybe 1 module or 2 modules, and they will get joined out into the space, and then they will start moving towards the moon surface. And there we will be doing excavation, getting some soil back and deliver it on the Earth.
All right. On that note, Dr. Lele, may I thank you for breaking it down for our viewers and helping them understand these complex issues better. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated.
Thank you.